This is the knitting news from Knit Happens Teesside for the second week of 2025. There's lots of planning going on, isn't there? I know that I'll get onto that in a bit. So last night at knitting there was only Helen and we do hope that next week there will be a few more. So Helen was making a hat from this pattern. The only thing was she wasn't using the same yarn, and I think she nearly made it all while we were there because it's such thick yarn she's using, and hopefully it was going to fit her head, but I haven't heard yet whether it does fit or not. She might let me know. I have decided to stop being a big baby and do some colour work sleeves in the round. When I got this out to have a look at it, which one is it? It's Boyland Knitworks. I'll put it on the screen because I can't see a device. Oh, on the computer. Hang on. I'm going to make Halo, I think, or Halo, or however you say it, if the wool that I have is right for it, and sense some editing coming up. Sipila by Caitlyn Hunter of Boyland Knitworks, and I have showed it recently and put it back in the bag, and I've done an awful lot of baby knitting, and I thought it was about time I finished something off that I like, and I really like this, and I think that I will wear it quite a lot. There's not that much contrast between the colours, but they are very different colours. So it's kind of subtle, isn't it? Anyway, when I looked at the sleeves, it's just working from a chart. And I think the decreasing's right at the end. So I've started. And I'm hoping that, well, rather than being bunched up, it's looking a little bit loose. And I'm hoping that when it's blocked, it looks a bit neater than that. We're a bit yellowy light here because it's starting to go a bit dull, being short days. So that's what I'm working on, though I did a little bit maybe the night before, and then when I was at knitting, everything that I did do was ended up being tinked because my spots were all off. They were all wonky. I had I'd got further around the row than I was further back, if anybody understands what that's supposed to mean. Anyway, I think I'm sorted now. A lovely warm cup of coffee. It's the coffee with vanilla in, but it's an instant. It was quite nice, actually. I made a proper coffee this morning and it tasted a bit. Anyway, me and Tim have just been on a little road trip. And we went to the next town, Mddlesbrough. You might have heard of it. So we went to pick up something special for somebody. A request. So it's for Neil of Blocked magazine, who hasn't done any spinning. So we've just been to pick it up, and I've put some little bits of video of the wonderful industrial scenery in between here and Mddlesbrough. for you to have a look at. I do like the industrial skyline, and at night it's different again when it's all lit up. It's quite something. We've just been through the posh end of Mddlesbrough and come out in what appears to be the rough end.
Am I staying here?
No, you're coming with me. Here's my bodyguard. I think we're up here somewhere. Am I staying here? What do you think? What do you reckon? It's just as leave you can on your car around here. In this box, this biscuit box, broken biscuits, isn't broken biscuits, which is a good thing because I don't need to be eating biscuits. We've got USBs because one was a bit shabby. And we've got a 3D printed e-spinner for not a lot of English pounds. Not too many. We've got a disc with the instructions. We've got a memory pen stick thing with the instructions just in case the disc is no good. And well, obviously it's not turned on. This is an e-spinner. It's like a nano. It's like maybe the length of my hand. So so you can see the insides. It has a base, but the base has got holes so that it can be screwed onto a table and then it slots on. You may hear more of this from Neil. You may not. That's entirely up to Neil. And it's got 2 spare reels. Is it reels that you call them? Or is that because I'm a sewer? It's got some other little odd bits and bobs. Elastics, bobbles, a hook to... It's all in a bank bag. A hook to get your working yarn through the orifice at the end. And it's got these two that join together, so you would spin your 2 lots, and then on the on the third. You probably you probably know, and it's not very clear, is it? You'd spin sort of half of that and half of the other one, and then on your third spool you would apply them together using this as a lazy Kate. Oops, try the other one. Interesting. Very. Wish I'd done that when I was there. So it's just got a little connector. Puts it together. It's definitely got a hole through it. I don't think the hole's big enough. That's not much use, is it? So while I'm messing about with this, I'll tell you what I was going to tell you earlier, which was Amy of Two Sisters and Some Yarn is counting all of her skeins of yarn and cataloguing them all, and other people have already done so. I don't think I am, because my stash is sort of strategically stuffed in different corners of the house. Yeah, they're fine. I was panicking then there was something wrong with it. I might leave them on. So is it Shauna Stitches? She does State of the Stash. Oh, she did last year, and this year I think she's working. It's all catalogued, and she's whatever comes out, she knows what she's used, and she knows what she's got. I used to have a little file box with everything on a card, and it was different coloured cards for each weight, and how many balls I had, what it was, how many yards or metres was on it, and what needle size, tension, so that I could look up on Ravelry or elsewhere, or if I find a pattern in a magazine, and I can have a quick flick through this little box like this to see what I have that's a possible yarn to make something in. So now it's all databases, but the same kind of thing. And the reason that my system failed was because I failed to keep it up to date. I'm not particularly organised, but I can usually lay my hands on whatever I'm looking for, mostly. Something I do though, if I do come up with an idea, before it leaves my head again, if I look at some wool and think, oh, that would make such and such a thing, I do have a little notebook that I write that down in, and I do find that that's very useful because you can't remember everything, and sometimes I look back and think, well, I might change my mind, or I might still want to make it. And that's about it for this week. And if you have an e-spinner, I hope you think that this looks alright. So it's 3D printed. I mean, it seems alright. He showed me it working. So that's all for now, and more news maybe next week. I just did a really good bit, but then I wasn't recording. Too twisty.